Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I don't usually do bank fishing videos because I have a boat, but I know there's a lot of guys that don't have a boat and do bank fish a lot. I bank fished for years and years of my life before I ever got a boat, so I've done plenty of it. And since I've done plenty of it, I've done my fair share to know that bank fishing is actually pretty difficult, whether it be finding places to actually fish or most places that you can actually fish are so overpressured that it's hard to catch some fish. I know what you guys have been through, you guys that don't have boats. A lot of the tips that I teach you from a boat will work bank fishing because that's where I learned them initially. But I wanted to do some bank fishing specific stuff, mostly because my boat is getting some maintenance done on it for my next Toyota series coming up. Since I'm going to be out at ICAST next week, I gave them the boat, let them work on it before we get back out on the water and filming more content. So to do some bank fishing, we're going to do twofold here. So I'm actually just getting ready to go fish a pond and try and film a video talking about how and where you want to catch fish, different tips to catch more fish out there. And to do so, I have all my tackle out in my garage that I stored in my bass boat. I'm going to have to put some baits in a box to actually go fish. So I have this empty Plano box right here, and stay tuned to the end of today's video. I'm going to give away everything in today's video, this box right here. We're going to go out to my tackle shelf here. We're going to pick out my favorite pond fishing baits, stuff that you have to have. We're going to talk about whether you need just a store list to go to the store and buy some stuff that you need to pond fish with, or you want to see what's already in your tackle box that I would throw or that you think you should be throwing in your local pond. We're going to go pick through all my stuff out there, put together a single Plano box that I'm going to take with me to a pond today so we can go fish and film that other video. That will be in different video. If I actually succeed in catching some fish, I'm going to a pond I've never been to before. It's super pressured. I know nothing about it, but it's like a community catch and release pond, so those fish have probably seen everything. We'll see if we can even catch anything. It's the only pond that I found public access to that's nearby my house here. Like I said, I don't pond fish much anymore, so that hopefully will be another video and we'll teach you all about that. But today we got to load this box up, and like I said, we'll be giving this box away at the end of today's video, so stay tuned. Let's go out to the tackle shelf, see what we load this thing up with for today, and we'll talk about at the end of today's video how you can win this box and all the tackle inside of it. Okay, so we're out here on the tackle shelf here. Bear with me, this is an absolute mess. I had to literally unload everything out of my boat super fast when I got back from Champlain, and I didn't organize it at all. I just bombed it all on this shelf here. So we got tackle all up in here, here. There's tackle in those totes. There's a bunch of plastics there, a bunch of plastics down there, and there's stuff even off to the side over here. But like I said, bear with me. We're gonna go through this tackle shelf here and we'll show you what we'll pick. So we got our tackle box we're gonna fill up here. You are missing out if you were going to a pond and not fishing this one. It mimics the forage, excellent. They feed on bluegills in ponds. That's like their #1 piece of food that they have to eat. Most ponds don't have shad. Most ponds don't have other stuff. The only thing they have to eat is bluegills. So if bluegills is all they have to eat, we want something that looks like a bluegill, and we also want something weedless. So that option is going to be right here. And that's going to be a chatterbait. If you do not fish chatterbait in a pond, like I said, you are missing out. This is one of my favorite colors right here, and it's literally just a bluegill color. This is a Z-Man Chatterbait Elite bluegill. That's what I'm going to go with. This is a 1/2 ounce. I'll also throw the other one that I really like to throw is a 3/8 if you have some really shallow water. This is just a 3/8 green pumpkin chatterbait Elite. So basic chatterbaits right there. I don't usually fish jackhammers in ponds that much just because there's not really, I only use a jackhammer when money's on the line, if I'm being honest with you. If I'm out there fishing for fun or in ponds or anything like that, I'm gonna throw the $7 chatterbait Elites, and that's gonna be my go-to setup right there. I don't care if I get it snagged on a log under the water that I can't see or anything like that. I can go through 2 or 3 of these before I get to the price of a jackhammer. And most of those pond fish, while they are pressured, most of them don't care if you find places and you fish the right presentation. We'll talk about all that in that other video. But those are 2 chatterbaits right there that we're gonna throw in our tackle box for today. So got a couple chatterbaits right there, but you need some plastics to go with it. My #1 trailer that I like to use got to give it that bluegill profile, and to do so, you got to throw the Yamamoto Zaco. So we'll grab a handful of Zacos to take with us here today. That thing is like the deal on fishing on the back of a chatterbait. You got to have that thing. It does a couple things. So one, it gets your bait weighted properly. This is the Zaco right here. It'll get your bait weighted properly so you can make a far cast and it'll stay keeled in the water correctly. So this thing will actually perform correctly in the water. It has that tight shimmy and it gives it that bluegill presentation. It gives it that bulk to it that you need. So that is like the only chatterbait trailer that I ever really throw. So number one bait, chatterbait with a Zaco. We're gonna throw that in our box here and we'll get to picking out the rest. All right, we had to do quite a bit of digging there, but we found probably one of my favorite pond fishing baits of all time. That's gonna be the Zoom Super Fluke. So we have 2 bags of them right here. If you have some fish that really like bait fish, if you've ever fished ponds with minnows, honestly, I used to trap like creek chubs and go throw them in a pond when I was real little, and you'll be surprised at how crazy those fish will react at like a dying minnow. So I have like this disco green color. That's one that I really like to throw, but truthfully, my favorite one in a pond is going to be watermelon seed. Just imitates those bluegills really well. That's the way to go. It just perfect pond fishing bait. And to go with those, I use the 6 cent stout wide gap hooks, 5/0. The reason I go with the 5/0 is because it'll be perfect for some of our other baits that we're gonna pick here throughout the rest of the video as well. So 1 pack of hooks can get you through with all the different techniques that you'll be throwing here as well. So we're gonna get this in our tackle box too. All right, and we have 2 other search baits that I really like to use in a pond, and they're gonna be topwater baits. So 2 different kind of topwater baits, especially in the summer here. Today's July 4th, so you're literally in the middle of the summer. Depends on your pond, whether you have grass or whether you don't, and the size of your fish. We're gonna start with number 1 right here. This is gonna be if you do have grass in your pond, and that's gonna be the good old-fashioned weedless frog. I throw a frog tons and tons and tons in a pond. It just catches fish time after time. Again, bluegill imitator, works great as a bluegill imitator, but you're also gonna have fish that are feeding on frogs themselves, because that's actually a food source in ponds. They line the edge of the pond. If they jump in, a bass can get them. So I like something that literally just looks like a frog. So here's a Spro poppin' frog right here. Just a regular bullfrog color. I don't even know what the name of the color is, but that's a perfect pond fishing bait that you can throw right there. So we'll throw him in our box and we'll find topwater number 2 right here. I believe he's gonna be right down here. And that's going to be the old school popper. That's going to be probably the bait that I grew up fishing ponds with more than anything. I love a popper when I'm fishing a pond. So this is the one that I used to use growing up as a kid. I've caught numerous fish on this bait right here, and that's just going to be the old school storm chug bug. I love a popper just because it's small and can imitate those tiny bait fish on the surface. Dying bait fish, whatever they're doing. We'll pick a couple good ones out here for us to go fish with for the day. So there's 2 colors that I really like to throw. One is just gonna be some type of white bellied color, and then one is gonna be a chrome color. Depends if you have sunny day or cloudy day, which one you're gonna throw. But those are 2 topwaters that I like to throw. So my topwater choices when I'm fishing a pond, if I have smaller fish, smaller bait fish, my favorite one growing up as a kid was that topwater popper. I'd go to a pond and just throw that thing around, and that got me addicted to bass fishing, watching this fish come up and crush a popper. So we got topwater poppers and then a frog. Those are the 2 that I like to throw. We got our chatterbaits and flukes for our subsurface baits. So now we need a couple bottom bouncing baits to round out that assortment. And that's gonna be the go-to setups for fishing in the ponds. So my first bottom bouncing bait here, these are gonna be ones that I really like to use when that pond has some grass on the bottom, stuff like that. That's gonna be the KBD Dream Shot. This is a watermelon red one right here. So we'll throw that one in there. And then the other one I don't have in a pack, but we'll grab a handful of them, is the Zoom Finesse Worm. I absolutely love fishing the Zoom Finesse Worm in ponds. What I'm gonna do with this is actually put it on a drop shot. Either one of these I'll put on a drop shot, whether it's a Texas rig or a nose hook. That's the way that I'm gonna rig it up. We'll probably throw some nose hooks in there for today. We'll go grab some terminal tackle to go ahead and fish our drop shot with. And then as for the terminal tackle necessary to fish this bait, a nose hook. This is a 6-inch drop shot hook in the size 1. That's going to be key to get that bait. I like the nose hook better a lot of times because those fish will just gently bite it, and they might not get the whole bait in their mouth, but they're gonna go head first. And then for drop shot sinkers, I got some 1/8 ounce and 3/16 in the stick weight so that it can pull through that pond grass that's on the bottom a lot better. So that's gonna be our weight selection for what we need to go ahead and fish around with those baits as well. All right, so bait number 1 right here, this is gonna be like my best bottom bouncing pond fishing bait besides the drop shot, and that's gonna be the good old Gary Yamamoto Senko. Now, there's 2 ways you can rig this up, and the second way will actually play in with the other 2 baits we got down here at my feet here. But my favorite way to rig this is just on the standard wacky rig. So we'll grab some wacky hooks. That's gonna be the way I like to rig this up the best. There's nothing easier than catching fish in a pond by just throwing a Gary Yamamoto Senko on a wacky rig, chuck that thing out there and let it sink. So we'll get that in our box right there, and then we'll need some wacky hooks. So like I said, we got our 6 cents wacky hooks right here, just your standard wacky hook. 1/0 is the size we got here, so that's what we'll be rigging up our Senkos with. We'll throw a couple O-rings in there too, because we'll need them to fish with for the day. I'll be fishing with other stuff than this. I'm just pulling together basically the same stuff that I'm gonna pack into a box and go fish with, but you'll get all brand new stuff, not stuff that I fished with. Last thing right here is going to be a Texas rig. Texas rig works in every single pond that you'll ever fish in your life. There's 2 baits that I got here. A Zoom brush hog. This is the baby brush hog. That's a perfect bait for dragging on the bottom if you need a smaller profile but still want some action. And then my old school favorite right here, nothing beats a standard Texas rig in a pond with a Zoom Mag 2, basically just a regular ribbon tail worm. You drag it around and fish eat it. It's just the way it works. I've been catching a ton of fish on just like a 7-inch curly tail worm for a very, very long time, dragging it around ponds. So we're gonna throw these 2 in our box, and then we're gonna need some tungsten and some hooks as well. But we already have those 5/0 hooks, so that's the reason why we went with the 5/0s. So we'll just grab some tungsten and we'll be ready to fish. All right, so we got our O-rings that we need for our wacky rings, and then we got a handful of tungsten here, 3/16, quarter, 5/16. That is like it for pond fishing. An 1/8 if you needed to, but those are the 3 sizes that I really, really like to use, and that's what I'd be rigging these baits up with. So that right there is an entire box of tackle ready to go pond fishing. Like I said, we're gonna do a giveaway on this. So if you wanna be entered to win this box right here with all this tackle in it, all you have to do is go ahead and be subscribed down below, like the video, and comment what your favorite pond fishing bait is. I know I missed a lot of them, couldn't fit everything into one box, and I don't need everything for one box today. But if I'm going pond fishing, 9 times out of 10, this is all I'm gonna need, and this is what I catch most of my pond fish on. So comment your favorite bait below, we'll pick a random comment. I'm gonna let this contest run until I do the best baits for August video. That way it gives it a couple weeks to run through, let people get entered. And if this has an overwhelming response and you guys liked actually putting together like a tackle box of what I'd use, we can maybe start doing that on our best baits of the month video. I'll get a tackle box, fill it up with everything I'd fish with for that month, and then we can give away that tackle box each month. So if you guys really want to see this thing be a giveaway every month, like this style of video, really make sure you let me know down in the comments below. But for now, we're gonna go rig up our rods and we're gonna go fishing, and hopefully have another pond fishing video coming your way in the next couple of days or a week or so. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.